So far for the Area Pro Series, we've had to the Super Speedway at Daytona, a Speedway at Charlotte, a short track that's basically a short track at Iowa, and now we head to a road course. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round number 4 of the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series here from Watkins Glen. My name is Finny Kuna here, as always, with Connor Horn and Hunter Sleppy. Guys, I'm back to have you again. We've seen some crazy action here from Watkins Glen, some tight action, especially near the front of the field. I'm looking forward to seeing some more action here from this fantastic, famous American road course.
I'm excited for it as well, and we have seen a lot of action in the 2 races that we've seen here already on Monday and Tuesday night. A lot of it was around the top 5, top 10, even back near the back half of the field, especially on Tuesday night we saw a lot of action. But as far as up front, I don't know how much action we're going to see past turn number 1. We saw it on Tuesday night after taking down Jake Nichols on Monday night in a closer battle. Tuesday night, James Skyerly had it all to himself over Travis Beckner, Alan Elwood, and others, and he's looking to do the more of the same tonight. He's also looking to make a little bit of area history tonight, Hunter.
Indeed he is. I mean, James Skyerly seems to be like the cat to watch out for tonight. He's won every single road course race that we've had except for Watkins Glen back in Season 1 in the Pro Series. Liam Sheen won that race, led 43 of 45 laps, and really looking at it, seems like it might be a dogfight for a second, but I really wouldn't count out Travis Beckner just yet. Beckner is very good on these road courses, but for the majority, it seems like James Skyerly is going to be the one to look out for tonight.
Indeed, and we'll take a look quickly here at the road course that we're heading to here at Watkins Glen. Taking a look at the track, heading down the front straightaway, you're going to go flying into the 90, turn number 1, a nice right-hander where we're going to see a lot of passes, especially on the opening lap. Then up through the famous S's, going to make a right-hand turn, a left, and then a right again at a higher rate of speed, and then heading into the bus stop, Connor.
Yeah, right down to the bus stop with the new curbs, with the new configuration. Not new configuration, but the new update iRacing gave you. You have all the curb in the world to use there. You have to put all 4 tires over the curbs in the inner loop, and if you don't, you're going to lose a lot of time, but you can also gain a lot of time doing that. And then you get down into the carousel to get those right side tires as close to the curbing there as possible. Maybe track out a little wide out of 5 to get a better run on exit. You could use all the runoff out of 5.
Yeah, but then you head over down the other back stretch, heading into turn 6, which is another good passing zone. And if you don't make the move there, you could make the move in the sharp turn 7, the final corner, where we might see some contact and some tempers flaring towards the end of the race.
Indeed, definitely might start to see some tempers flaring, guys. As take a look here at, before we go back to the track action on the track, take a look at your playoff picture. As you look here, James Skyerly, 2 wins in the season so far, and if the practice times are to go off, anything to go off of, and his previous record in the rest of the races this week, it looked like it might be win number 3 for that number 7 machine.
And no surprise to see him at the top of the leaderboard anyways. 2 straight wins, including last week at Iowa, and he's looking really solid to defend his title in this Pro Series. Look at Alex Weaver in 2nd place. That's a great story there. And Sogax dropped to 5th and actually gained 8 spots at Iowa last week. A number of drivers a little bit further down the order, but still in the playoff picture. How about Casey Lakatos in 12th? But there's still a lot more drivers at the cut line and below the cut line that need to get a move on.
Yeah, I'm looking at Cameron Hearn right here, 5 points outside of the cutoff. Andrew Phipps also having a very strong start to the season, 4 points out as well. Greg Mitchell, he's also one that needs to kind of get a move on. Colin Farnborough as well. Senesac also. Senasac's having a good truck season, but
John Furness in 20th. Excuse me to cut you off, Hunter, but that's another surprise there.
That is a surprise. I did not expect to see Furness that low, and we'll see the team standings now. David Weishaupt Racing has won every single race to start out the season, with Anna Sogok back at Daytona and Skyerly the last 2 weeks, and Sky Motorsports and IRLC Motorsports in a dead heat for 2nd place, and 4th on back. It's close as well.
Yeah, still pretty close for them. We'll see who's going to get up there. And again, for David Weishaupt Racing, it's hard to say that they haven't gotten off to a fantastic start this season so far, at least for the Pro Series. We'll cut down to the action on track, and you're going to see the man we're going to be watching out for. Pretty much everyone out there tonight is going to be watching out for the number 7 Rick's South Beach Heat, Rick's Hot Sauce South Beach Heat car. Currently leading the timesheets by about 0.4 of a second over Travis Beckner in the 27.
And a cloud just came over the track, so I can imagine he's trying to put down a 111 here. I would not be surprised, so I'd love to just ride along here. You can look how strong he is through the S's, not putting a tire out of place at all, and he's going to give it all he can into the bus stop through the inner loop. All 4 tires as close to that wall to the right as you can get without hitting it. Almost hit the camera and even get the left sides in the grass. If you can get away without an incident getting those left and right sides in the grass, you're going to put down an absolute flying lap as he gets those right sides, as I was talking about, as close to that curb, even on the curb as you can, and use everything to the left if you can. A little slide there.
Indeed, and you can see the time there. Beckner's second on the board. Greg Mitchell, we just talked about him below the cutoff line, third on the practice sheet. And Rob Ackley, Matthew Bell, also inside the top 5. Very surprising to see Slaughter in 6th. I'm not sure if he's good on the road courses, but the lap times say otherwise. Cameron Hearn, just mentioned him too, outside the cutoff line, just jumped up to 7th on the timesheet.
Talking about Cameron Hearn here, he is sitting in pit lane after I think going to take a bit of a break here before qualifying begins. Joel's talking about Greg Mitchell in the number 2 machine. Could use some good finishes coming his way. Currently sitting in, where is he currently sitting? 14th in the standing. So tonight, if he finishes in third, it could be a great haul for him, and the points is yet to have a top 5 finish or a top 10 finish this season. So he can definitely start putting his championship hopes in a better direction.
And another driver, we were talking about Brett Slaughter Jr., he's looking solid in 6th, but he was fast in truck practice Tuesday night, but he didn't get his qualifying time down, and that put him down the order, and it made for a really rough race. After speeding and having other issues, he got a lot of damage, he couldn't recover, and he needs some help. He needs a good run. He's all the way down in 28th in points. He has the top 5, one top 5, but he has had nothing go his way since, so he's one of the numerous drivers who's got to get something going.
And there's a 6th of Munster. We talked about having a very strong season 4 so far. 8th quickest on the board. Chris Rabels also had a very solid start to the season. 9th over there. And Ryan Hart's rounding out the top 10. Almost like a home track race to Ryan Hart's over from the Haba area. We're in upstate New York. This is right around your neck of the woods, Finian. And Kyle, I know he's not here tonight, but this is around your neck of the woods.
It's like a solid 4 or 5 hours from my neck of the woods. If anything, I actually think Pocono is actually more, I think, technically of a home track to me, but I consider Watkins Glen my home track, being in New York. But yeah, no, it's definitely, for anyone that does live in New York State, this is definitely a track that's going to be on your list to win, not only just as your home New York track, but also the fact that it's one of the few road courses we go to on the NASCAR calendar, even though they have thrown more on there in the recent years. But with it being so long, it has so much history here at this particular track, and it takes a lot of skill to win, especially as you look through the S's here. These guys are quite literally going to be flying here pretty much with some opposite lock into the steering, because you got to carry a lot of speed, but it takes a lot of bravery to carry that speed.
Yeah, you need to be very brave. The rear end, once you get to the top of the hill in the S's, it almost feels like you go downhill as you get to the top, and the rear end kind of just comes around, and it's hard to catch. If you get sideways in the middle of the S's, you're going to be in a bad spot, so you got to be able to catch that. 40 drivers taking a time tonight, including Ryan Hartz, and this is not related to Ryan Hartz, but another driver who needs to get something going is David Weishart. I don't believe he's on track yet, but he is all the way down, Hunter, in 30. He is 36th in points after 3 races, and that is definitely the biggest surprise to me.
Yeah, for some reason it has just not been a good start for Ryan Hartz, and this is uncharacteristic of him. Seems like he gets in some sort of issue as we go on throughout the race, whether it's Daytona, Charlotte, Iowa. I don't know what it is, but maybe he could turn it around on the road course. He's got top 10 speed, just has to stay out of the trouble because we have no yellows for the road courses, so the margin for error is slim to none.
It definitely is, and it's quite surprising. I was just taking a look at his stats, and just to confirm at home, this is not for him lack of trying. It's not like he just showed up for one race. He's attempted all 3 races, and actually, out of all the drivers that have run at least 3 races, he's second to last, or third to last, I should say, in that category. So it's been an unfortunate start to the season for him. Hopefully now this Watkins Glen could be a track where he can turn his luck, turn his fortunes around. He's yet to score inside the top 20. Take a look at Ryan Hartz working his way around through the chicane and now through the carousel.
Just to avoid confusion, it's Wiseheart 36, not Hart. So I apologize if I confused anyone. But yes, Wiseheart still needs to get something going. Hart's is doing all right. No wins, but still solid runs. See what he can do. He's coming through the final 2 corners, 6 and 7. Trying to put down a solid times. Little bit sloppy in the bus stop, but I think he's recovered quite nicely.
Dean is one of the first guys out there to put a time down. We'll see what he can do. James Kelly actually out there just beating him. So can Ryard potentially beat the number 7? He can't. He's actually going to be in behind Cameron Hearn, who jumps up to second place. But Skyley, the man everyone's trying to trail and beat.
Yeah, definitely going to try to. It's kind of the standard that you want to get to, but he's out ahead of Hearn in second by 5.5 tenths. Ooh, Hearts. Looking at Hearts, he almost hit the wall in the S's, but he's all clean there as we look at Skylerly trying to put down a faster lap. He neck-coated that wall. He got so close to it. He kind of missed the second left-hand part of that a little bit, but it's going to be a little bit difficult to get the second lap faster. We saw it last night. A lot of drivers saw it Tuesday night. We saw a lot of drivers Hunter pick up on their second lap, but it seems even harder to do with the excess horsepower you have in these Xfinity cars.
I'd say he's looking for that track record set back in Season 1 from Liam Sheen. It was a 1:12.143. He is just on the cusp of that. If he could get through Turn 7 here, he might have a shot at it. But one thing I'm noticing early on, a lot of drivers that were in the top 10 in practice are currently in the top 10 in qualifying. And we still have a good bit of drivers to go out and put a time down. And it looks like he was just a little bit slower. Yeah, a little bit slower that time. But 7's still on the pole for now. We'll have to see what Travis Beckner does in the 28. He was the second quickest car in practice.
Ooh, how about Chris Rabel, Finian?
Yeah, I was going to say, I was trying to see who was going pretty quick on their second lap. Chris Rabel, one of them, just going to jump up to third. A solid qualifying effort for him. Andrew Santo in the number 10 going to go flying through turn number 1, trying to put a qualifying effort down. And Hunter, interesting story with the 10 this week.
Yes, he is on a controller. I'm not sure if this is something new, but we know Santo runs on a controller, but it's just more difficult on a road course, especially with the hard lefts, hard rights. On the oval, it's a little bit more manageable because you're just going in one direction.
Wait. He's been on a controller this entire time?
I don't know either. I thought that's what I took it as, but I'm not even sure anymore.
I know that when Dawson Miller raced earlier in the season, he ran on a controller.
Huh, that's kind of impressive. I honestly would think the ovals are harder because you need such a fine line to maintain a line. I feel like it's a lot trickier to run a control on an oval than a road course. Intarians? But no way. I don't believe that. When Jacob Bell is the admin for tonight, he's posting notes in the chat, in admin chat for us.
You're telling me he won a fuel championship on a controller?
So apparently Shane Terrian's also been running full-time on a controller, and I can't believe I am just learning this now.
My mind is blown. I had no clue about that. You're telling me he was winning league championships on a controller? That's unbelievable.
I was going to say, we've been seeing Shane Terrian on SimTV for like 3 years, so it's way too late for me finding this information out now.
Wow.
Justin Munsell, as we were talking across the line, he's going to jump up to third, overtake Rabel as well as Cameron Hearn, Furness, and now David Weishart, we were just talking about, needing to change his fortunes, is doing a pretty good job at the moment, up to sixth in qualifying.
And as far as I know, he's on a steering wheel. I guess we'll have to fact check that. But you'll see how hard he's having to hustle through the S's, trying to get a better lap on lap 2, sideways up the hill, and sideways getting out of the S's completely as he goes into the inner loop here. A few other times on the sheet, Munsell, I think we said, he jumped up to third. Beckner now second. Look how hard you have to go over those curbs. And then rounding Furness is up to fifth. He needs a good run. As we said, he's a little bit down the order than Weishart, Rabel, Mitchell, Hartz, and Shane Abbey in the 10th place.
I see Weishart a little bit sideways coming out of the carousel. And looking good at the moment. His time, he's looking like he might be 2 tenths up. If that's the case, it might put him up into potentially row number 2 if he can keep it up here through these final few corners, just to keep it nice and tidy and avoid this wall. It's so close, the line right up against it. He's going to just use up enough room. So can Weishart get that car up inside the top 5, row number 2, maybe even row number 1, if he was quick enough, and will go up to 4th place in the 33.
Yeah, really solid lap there. Was able to recover, and I think he caught a little bit of a cloud. You see a little bit of a shade over the track. So if anyone's going out now, it might really pay off for them. But I believe there's not too many more to go. Matt Alverson's on track. Also, Matthew Cochran, who has got not a different pace scheme for the 4. Also, a 21 going around the carousel right now, but not a different scheme for the 4. But if you look closely at that number, he's got like fish scale numbers that I saw earlier on Twitter, and it's pretty unique.
It is pretty unique, and I guess it's very fitting for having Bass Pro Shops on the hood of that car.
Trying to see where Cochran is in points. He's actually, I think he was doing pretty good at one point, but I'm not sure where he might have dropped. He is 10th in points, which is really good for the 4.
Yeah, and he's not pushing hard at all, lap number 1. And I think I'm not too surprised at this. We're seeing a lot of people do a lot better on lap number 2. So I think he's just trying to just get around there at decent speed, warm up the tires, and then push for all-out attack on lap number 2. Of course, the only big thing is that there's a lot of risk for a lot of reward, Connor.
Yeah, definitely a lot of risk for a lot of reward. As I think we'll see here. Hopefully it will pay off for him. He can get a nice top 15 run. We talked about it on Tuesday night, Hunter, and we'll obviously have to talk about it again. Track position still going to mean so much here. Going to be probably one of the most critical qualifying sessions of the year.
No doubt about it, because this is all about track position where you're starting and just maintaining control of the car the whole way around. Looking through, still have a minute to go. I don't think anyone else is going to put down a time other than Cochran, but
ooh, actually, Cochran might not make it back. He just crossed the line with a minute 2.
Yeah.
Ooh, he's not going to make it around. Might have gone down a little too leisurely and waited too long. So I wonder if he knows that. He might not realize that.
Yeah, he probably doesn't realize that. Matt Alverson's going to at least get his second time down. His first time was no good, minute 18. He's going to cross the line to complete his second lap, and it's going to be a 1:16.6. That puts him up to 32nd, ahead of a few others, but definitely not what he was looking for.
Well, Matthew Cochran's going to be the only driver remaining out there in qualifying, and definitely no way he's going to make it through the rest of the lap in half a minute. Oh, he's going to overshoot, mess up the bus stop big time. So anyway, this lap is not going to be a dud for him regardless, so it's going to be unfortunate for him. He's going to be starting back from 33rd.
And that is going to be tough. But we saw with Brett Slaughter Jr. On Tuesday night. You start at the back, you miss your qualifying lap, or you don't get a lap in, it really hurts you. Slaughter had damage from the very beginning and just couldn't recover for it. So Shane Therian, Steve Durham, Lakatos, he didn't get a lap in. A number of those drivers back there, Hunter, who are going to really struggle to get some track position.
Yeah, especially Lakatos. He's been having a very good start to the season. Him and Central United just inside the cutoff and getting to the road course portion of the season. Well, really only one road course, but it's going to be tough to try and come through the field and maintain a top 10 speed effort kind of a day.
Yeah, here to see how Lakatos does. I wouldn't say road course racing is his forte, but has dabbled in some other things, so I would say there's a good chance he has more road course experience than some of the grid. And it's always interesting when you come to a road course. Just I was taking a look at the driver's eye ratings, and by the way, for people at home, you can take a look at the driver's eye ratings as well as all the times through the live scoring in the chat. It is SimTV Broadcasting /live time, simtvbroadcasting.com/live timing to look at all the times. And also, while we have your attention here, actually, Hunter, if you can handle it for me, I did not have the read up in time.
Get your cue cards out, Fidian. Come on.
Yeah, I knew I forgot to open up something.
I do believe we're on the Roasted Gems coffee portion of the race, as still getting drivers settled in. Maybe some are going to take the time to have a cup of Roasted Gems coffee. And race fans, you can start your engines with a fresh cup of Roasted Gems coffee. Choose from some of the finest coffee beans from Colombia and Peru, or try the blended flavors of French vanilla and hazelnut. Use discount code AREA iRacing for 10% off your order at checkout at roastedgems.com.
Yeah, we should have these guys getting ready in just a few seconds. Actually, the session just got accelerated to gridding, so we'll be lining up your grid here in just a few moments.
It looks like we're going to get all 40 drivers. There's another big field tonight at a road course. We saw this at Mid-Ohio last season for the Pro Series, and it was a big field, and it caused a lot of stuff to happen. Mid-Ohio is just a tight track, not too fast of a track, but it does have a fast section. Mid-Ohio does. Watkins Glen is all fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking through here, I was going to say, looking through here in the Twitch chat, the poll question is, will James Skyley win tonight and complete the sweep? So I'm going to
Yes.
pass that I'm going to pass that question to you guys. I know Connor and I already are convinced that he'll win tonight. Finian, how about you?
Oh yeah, no, I think I think pending
Bet everything.
anything catastrophic, I think out of the realm of relative realm of possibility. I think either someone completely blowing turn one and nailing him, or a lap car getting into him when he comes back around around the second half of this race. I don't think besides that, I don't think really much is going to be stopping this number 7 as far as pace is concerned. He just seems to be in another zip code as far as pace.
Yeah, the poll question, everyone is putting yes, except for Jacob Bell. He put 1,000 points on no and said, why not? So if something happens to Skyley and he doesn't win, Jacob Bell is going to take all the points.
Right, well, Jacob Bell is going to be spare change on the side of area Twitch streets with that decision, in my opinion.
All right, without further ado, let's get through your Rose to Gems Coffee starting lineup here. Starting on pole, it's going to be James Skyley in the number 7, as he's been doing all week long. Travis Beckner is going to be starting next to him in the number 27 in second. He finished second to him last night. We'll see if he can improve and change his fate here tonight.
Same front row as Tuesday night. We'll see if it's the same ending or a little different ending. Then go row number 2, Justin Munsell in the Raycon Supra, really strong qualifying effort. Then David Weishart down 36th in points, needs a turnaround.
Moving on back to row number 3, it's going to be Cameron Hearn on the inside. Next to him, John Furness in the 20. It's coming rolling off in 6th place.
In 7th place, the last driver in the minute 12 bracket is 29 of Chris Rabel, with alongside him the Championship 4 competitor last season, Greg Mitchell.
Moving on back in behind them in 9th place is going to be Ryan Hart. In the number 3 machine, Shane Abbey is going to roll off in the 84 in 10th place.
Matthew Bell had a strong top 3 run last week. He'll try to build on that. He starts 11th alongside him, the 14 of Rob Ackley, who always sneaks his way into the competition late. He starts 12th.
Moving on back to 13th, it's going to be Tom Bourne in the number 16 machine. Next to him, Mason Kane is going to be rolling off in the 31 machine in 14th.
Justin Sogak, the winner at Daytona, locked into the Area Pro Series playoffs. He starts 15th. Brett Sauter Jr., he starts 16th place, the Truck Series champ.
Moving on back to 17th, it's going to be Bryce Senezak in the 09 machine. Next to him, Jordan Martin's going to be rolling off in the number 17 Ford Mustang.
The always recognizable Ford Mustang of Garrett Grant starts 19th, and then Alex Weaver second in the points coming in tonight in the Kevin Harvick throwback again. They start 20th.
Moving on back to 21st, me Colin Fambro in the 18 machine. Next to him, Forrest Smith in the 81's going to be rolling off in 22nd.
Always a show when Swerve Paul Urban's on track. He starts 23rd alongside the 8 of Austin Gack Jones, who's had a struggle so far this season.
Moving on back to 25th, it's going to be Ryan Dunkelberger in the 26 machine. Chuck Sweeting's going to be rolling off in the 75 in 26th.
Ryan Swan in the 20 Chevrolet Camaro, starting 27th place, about a 10th up on Ed Robertson's time in the 64.
We're going back to 29th place. It's going to be Chris Seidenfeiden in the 45 machine. Michael Muhammad's going to be rolling off in P30 next to him.
Then just outside the top 30, the controller man himself, Andrew Santo, in the 10 machine. And then Matt Albertson, who we saw last driver to put a time down, needs a little bit of help tonight to get some track position. He starts 32nd.
We'll go back to 33rd. It's going to be Matthew Cochran. We saw just run out of time in qualifying. We'll see what he can do starting from near the back of the grid. Jacob Hudson's going to roll off in the 96 in 34th.
Case Licata's strong last 2 weeks. See if he can make some ground up early, starting 35th. Steve Durham, who's had some controversy back at Charlotte, he'll try to recover. He starts 36th.
And Shane Terrian's rolling off in 35th. Well, that's at least what I have him on my screen. And rolling on back, we have Spencer Brown in the 95, Philip York in the 97. You're rounding out your field. 40 cars here tonight. It's a very, very big starting grid. And we'll see what they're going to be able to do. Pace car already off, and the green flag's in the air. A great start from the 67 of Cameron Hearn in the background as we go racing here at the Glen. Nearly 3 wide, 4 wide, how about 5 wide midfield, guys? That's definitely not enough room for all those cars, and somehow they make it through, at least for now.
Well, they got to get through the S's first. You do not want to be 3 wide through the S's. We see a lot of 2 wide up near the top 10. It seems like everyone's going to somehow be able to sort it out. All clear through the S's, all the way to the back of the field as they come into the inner loop. Skyley well ahead already.
Boy, oh boy, it is getting dicey already. We're not even halfway through lap 1.
I was going to say, you're barely halfway through lap 1, but for the most part, it looks like everyone's made it through relatively unscathed in one piece. I see some guys coming through with a whole lot of damage, but considering we were 5 wide in turn number 1, I'm amazed we made it through in one piece. John Furness is able to get a spot on Cameron Hearn. Hearn, though, looking really racy, trying to get back at the number 28 machine.
Honestly, the only damage I see is to the front end of the 62, but otherwise, all good, all clean. And like you were talking about, Hearn had a absolutely flying restart, but actually really didn't get any positions out of it. In fact, I think lost a starting position out of all of that, but he's got a big run. Furness slips out of the final corner as we complete lap 1, and it looks like Furness is just going to give the spot up.
And Furness needing a good run, Hearn as well. They're both outside the cutoff, and they're both running 5th and 6th at the moment. Bryce Senesac there in the 09 gonna, well, thought about looking to the inside of Justin Sogok for 16th, and just gonna tuck in line with Garrett Grant behind.
Yeah, lap 1 complete. Everything mostly sorted out here. Travis Beckner trying to chase down James Scully, preventing him from getting too far into the lead. And running away with things as they roll off into the chicane again. Ooh, Beckner off wide, though, as you're looking at him. Made a huge mistake. Here comes Justin Munsell sideways, trying to gather things back up and now have a run at the 27.
That's all from Beckner, just really trying to push hard. I wouldn't be surprised if he believes his only shot to get James Skyerly is right now at the very beginning of the race. That's why he was all over him. Santo went out of the S's.
I just lost it there. And onto the backstretch again. Santo is on the controller.
Yeah.
So, and it's a bit more of a struggle for him. He's continuing to go, but they're already in the deep hole.
Coming off the final corner, Beckner getting a little bit loose. He's really starting to struggle this lap as David Weiser takes advantage. He's going to try to look to his outside. Beckner charging hard to the inside in turn 1, Connor.
Gonna try to get it back, see if Weishart tries a crossover, not quite, but Beckner, he's not that great in turn 6 Tuesday night either, and it's already costing him some position. So Justin Munsell up into 2nd. Beckner pushing a little bit too hard to try to get that top spot, not able to do it as everyone's pretty much single filed out at this point.
Yeah, looking through, Skyly's got almost a 2-second lead already. We're on lap 3 and home for the majority of things inside the top 10. Outside the top 10 though, can't really say on it, as Mitchell is running 7th behind teammate John Furness. Rabel Bell Hartz running out the top 10. Again, if Hartz can stay inside the top 10, be a huge points day for him.
Here's Greg Mitchell looking to the inside of his teammate John Furness, trying to make a move. Or sorry, that was teammates with the 29 or the 7 or the 28.
I assume the 20. I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I apologize, but they are all 4. They're manufacturer teammates.
There you go. Now that's really going to help you a whole lot here. But the two trying to look to the inside of the 28 of John Furness couldn't quite get there, make a move. Also got Matthew Bell in here, who's made up 2 spots since the start of this race, from 11th up into 9th. And then Ryan Hartz, who we were talking about earlier, having a decent run. Lost 1 spot, though, running just inside the top 10. And got a lot of traffic ahead of him, but I think for him, really, the game plan is just playing it patient.
I don't know if Greg Mitchell has teammates, but it doesn't really matter right now. Like we're talking about, teammates don't really matter here unless they can just let you by or something like that. Wow, Basic Kane just had a big slide, but he makes it work. Is still looking at Hartz here in the 10th position, back a position from where he started. Not too many movers. We saw this Tuesday night. It's hard to move up in a quick amount of time, so everyone's kind of just stayed where they are. The only driver that didn't start in the top 10, who's in the top 10, is Matthew Bell. He's only up 2 spots from 11th.
Looking through, there's Brad Slar just outside the top 10. Mason Kane as well, running 12th. Very good effort. He was not a fan of the car in practice, but in a practice session before the practice session tonight, but he's managed to find some sort of grip underneath that 31 and is running just a couple spots shy of the top 10. Another strong start for the 31.
A decent start for his night. Woo is up ahead of them. It's getting really racy here. Number 29, Rabel out wide. Now going to be tucked to the inside. Matthew Bell trying to see if he can take advantage of the situation. Oh, it's very tight quarters. Very much one racing line through the SS. It's hard to go double file. But here comes the 43 with a great run.
Here we go.
Looking to the bus stop.
As another place you really don't want to be too wide through the bus stop. Bell is hounding the back of the 29 of Rabel, but just can't find a way by. And look at, Rabel sideways out of the bus stop. He's going to be able to save it and keep it out of the grass. That would have been terrible if he got a tire in the grass, but he kept it straight, and he loses a lot of positions.
Take a look at a replay here. Inside the 29.
I think he just got pressured too hard here, and he slipped one tire over to the right. But it's better that he didn't put the tires off here. If he put the tires off over there, Hunter, he would have been gone.
Oh, yeah, especially going off at that part of the track, turn 5. You don't realize how steep it is until you get off that banking and onto the flat.
Yeah, great job by the 29. Are able to just kind of realize that the car is getting lost, and then just did all he could to try to protect himself and protect the car, and he's still out there running, though down a few spots. You just saw him get passed by Brad Slaughter. He's now trying to hold off a charging Tom Bourne to his inside, and I think he's going to have to yield here on the S's as the 16 gets a great run. Indeed he will. He gets on by. In behind them, Rob Ackley and Justin Anasogak racing for 16th place, and you get throw Garrett Grant to the mix there. Three-way battle for the spot.
You can see how badly too wide affects you through the S's. Garrett Grant had such a run, but he had nowhere to go with it, obviously, because there's no room for that. Because they're going to stay too wide into the inner loop once more. I think Ackley's going to have it, Anasogak wide, but he keeps it straight, sliding all over the place, but keeping it on the track as everyone keeps it nice and tidy as you can be, going too wide through a bus stop like that.
All right, send the sack. Oh, close to touching doors with Tom Bourne. There he is on the move as well. Going to stay to the right of the 16 and still continue to duke it out heading into the 6.
And that was, excuse me, Fidian, but that was contact!
Oh boy!
Oh, and he's flying! Oh,
and
look out, everyone! Oh, Irvin slammed into him as well. What in the world was that?
That happened so fast I could barely even catch what happened there. Gonna have to take a look.
We have to take a look, but my guess is the 09 went to turn into the corner and Bourne just came up.
That was an odd place for that to happen.
I'm going to see them coming down the straight. There you go, the yellow and green car coming on the screen there. Heading side. I think Senizak.
Did he get a tire in the grass?
Yeah, tire in the grass. Hit the 14 at Ackley. Wow. And then a bunch of others coming in there. Ooh, you see Paul Irvin catch a piece of that at the end. Indeed, let's actually take a look and ride on board with Paul Irvin. See if we can get a look at what he saw of all the chaos that unfolded ahead of him.
He was pretty far back. I don't know how much he's going to see until it's right in his face. Already some left front damage there. You look on Brad Slaughter Jr., Chris Rabel, a number of other guys. You can see these guys just trying to scramble to miss it. This is not Chris Rabel. This is someone right behind it, and you can see a car go flying. Who was that? They just barely got through there. And Paul Urban, unfortunately, did not.
Yeah, really, really unfortunate for everyone involved in that scenario. That was the closest thing I think we've seen to a caution occurring all week long.
Yeah.
Across all three series.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest wreck of the week, but it was definitely a mistake on Senisak's part, getting the right sides in the grass, and poor Tom Bourne.
Still going?
He is still going. He is still going. Rob Ackley's out. Tom Bourne leading the modified division this week for the first time, but he does continue with a lot of damage. As we look at this battle, it's kind of subsiding a little bit. Greg Mitchell just got by John Furness.
We need to have a modified counter. I swear, this is the third time this season in the Pro Series that we've had a car become a modified.
Didn't bet on it happening here.
Yeah, we're gonna probably have to soon rename this to the modified division. There's a puff of smoke there. I'm not sure who caused that puff of smoke, but looking back at the lead here's an interesting story. The gap is actually closing in a little bit. Last time we looked at it was 2 seconds. Munzel's been doing his best, really the best that he can, to try to reel that back in. It's down to 1.6 seconds, and Travis Beckner also closing behind in this battle.
He's going to have a run into one here. The smoke was Jacob Hudson. He had a little slide, no damage though, just a harmless half spin. But yeah, the battle for second's the one that's heating up. They are catching Skylerly a little bit, but that being said, Munsell did lose a 10th that time by. Beckner actually gained a 10th on Skylerly last time by, so I think Beckner, he's had an issue this week with getting going on the short run as far as keeping the car under him on the short run with colder tires, but once we get a few laps under our belts, he seems like he starts to show his true pace as he's trying to come back on the 6 for the runner-up position.
Yeah, Beckner is one that thrives on the long run. So maybe he's just letting the 6 go, use his stuff up, trying to catch the 7 to see what he can do there, but it's a great little paint scheme there for the 27 of Beckner. Very Intriguing, almost like Jeff Earnhardt in that Forever Lawn paint scheme as they're going through Jacob Hudson, the lap car pulling over. But yeah, I still can't get over that wreck with Senesac and Bourne.
Yeah.
Those guys, their days are immediately done from that, and anyone involved in that as well.
That all stemmed from Rabel. He made the pass back on Tom Bourne into the bus stop, and it stacked them all up. So that's where really that started stemming from. As we look at the battle back here, actually further back, you see Tom Bourne as spin in the final corner. Who was that? That was maybe Jacob Hudson again, but I think it was another half spin. Everyone gets by.
Yeah, I was taking a look there. Shinktarian just got past the 97, so up into 24th for him. Taking a look a little bit further back up the order, 43, Matthew Bell is catching up to the 28 at John Furness, and Furness not looking too hot. We saw him last time we saw him. He was close to Greg Mitchell, is now separated from the two quite a bit. Here comes 43, Matthew Bell, almost going to hit the back end of the 28. I think that Furness might have burned up his stuff too quick here.
It's really quick to burn up your stuff. Lap 10, you at least got to get the 22, the halfway point, as Bell has a look here. Almost hit the wall, but didn't. But you could see 28 just does not have the grip to maneuver like Matthew Bell does. Look to the inside, but not quite enough room to make that work as he's trying to work over the back bumper of the 28 big time here.
Here comes Bell to the outside. Furness had a little wobbly exit there. He's just going to give him the spot.
He's been doing this, oddly, sorry to cut you off, William. He's been doing this since lap 1. You saw him let Hearn by on lap 1. Can't imagine this is a strategy play. It's just, I think he just is really, really struggling with having any speed right now.
Battle for a second position here. Travis Beckner just got by the 6 of Justin Munsell, and this is how he got it. 6 got a little bit loose in the penultimate corner, and then heading through turn 7 was offline, struggling to get on the power, and Beckner able to execute.
Yeah, really strong move there. The 6, I think, starting to struggle a little bit. Beckner starting to come on strong in that 27 Supra, and he sets his sights on trying to keep pace with Scioli, but in making that pass, he lost about 7/10, and so the gap is stretched out to about 2.7 seconds now as we look at another battle, middle of the field. Alex Weaver, who got damaged early, still sitting in 19th behind Ryan Dunkelberger, between Dunkelberger and Ryan Swan.
Yeah, just got past Ryan Swan. Swan's been making some slow, steady forward progress up inside, now finally inside the top 20 in his machine. Colin Farmer's also been trying to make some inroads here. Started in 21st, up 4 spots into 17th. He heads off into the bus stop. Close battle, looking back at this one here. John Furness now under attack. Ryan Hartz now looks like he's next on deck to try to pass the 28.
Looking for position, Hartz backs off into 6, tries to close back in through 7. Furness gets a decent exit, trying to keep with the 43 of Bell, but just does not have much of any grip to do anything with him right now.
For the time being, the 3, though, going to send it in, and Falcons fans look away. 28-3 on the track. The 43 still in front of those two, but well, looks like he didn't get a good launch through turn 1. Furness closed the gap again, and I'm going to mention Shane Abbey running in the 10th spot. He's now closing the gap on the 3 of Hearts.
How about the paint scheme on the 84, too?
Yeah, nice, good tribute to Jimmy Johnson, the classic Lowe's 48 machine. Every time I think of Jimmy Johnson, this is the one paint scheme that comes to mind, not the Ally or even the later like black, dark blue Lowe's paint. I never really liked that one. This is the one that sticks out in my mind.
Definitely, probably the most iconic one. And he's giving it a good ride right now. He started in 10th, and he's pretty much sat there doing a good job. Probably running better than Jimmy ever did at Watkins Glen, to be honest. So.
Whoa! Again, this 3 got super loose there. There's the 4 of Cochran going on the pit road, but a big moment there for Hearts.
Yeah, John Furness now got a great run out of the final corner. He's going to try to have a look here to the inside of Matthew Bell, heading off into turn number 1. Going to look to that inside. Matthew Bell is going to try to get that run off the corner, heading through the S's. If he can hang on, can't quite get on the traction. Furness now showing some second wind here. I thought he was going to continue to fall back, but now starting to fight back hard here. But he's going to be to the outside, going to be offline. It's going to have to back off. Here comes the 43. It's a drag race. And Ryan Hartz, you mentioned, he might also poke his nose into this.
Oh, what little Shane Abbey. This is where it gets tough when you get side by side to the S's. Now everyone's got to run at you, and you got to win that fight. or else you're going backwards, and Matthew Bell slung it into a bus stop to win that fight.
Not going to have a good exit there from the bus stop. 20 and the 3 going to go nose and tail. And Mason Kane's also entered his hat into the mix here, running in 11th. He moved up a spot, and now is potentially knocking on the board for a top 10.
Reinhardt's with a decent run off the carousel, going to chuck it to the inside hard, going to get one, going to get two done in turn number 6. How did he manage to do it?
That was an amazing move. I was looking at Colin Farrenborough. He got spun into a bus stop, but this battle is volatile right now as Furness is probably going to try to get back by the 43. He's going to get that spot. Now Shane Abbey's coming out of nowhere to try to take another position.
Battle's starting to heat up here. Sorry to cut you off, Hunter.
So you better get tucked back in line, otherwise the 84 might have a run to his inside, but boy, I still can't get over that pass that the 3 of hearts made.
Yeah, I want to take a look at that because that was I've rarely seen a dive bomb like that either work or play out. And there you see gets 1, gets 2. I just thought that they were going to try to outbreak themselves a little bit more, and the 28 to 43 were being cautious.
Yeah, he caught him napping for sure there, and it puts him up 2 positions, and it puts him in clean air, more importantly. It's a ways ahead to Greg Mitchell, about 5.5 seconds up the road, so it's important clean air to get for the 3.
Yeah, very great pass from the 3 of hearts again, but he's very deep in the points. I believe you said 36th in points, Connor, before the program started.
That is Weishart, I believe.
Oh, Weishart. Oh.
I got you mixed up. I did try to correct you. I tried to apologize. Hart's is 10th. He's doing solid.
Well, either way, both guys are having solid runs today. But yeah, David Weishart very, very much needed this run, running inside the top 5. Hearn, though, closing in. That is his car, by the way. Still can't get over that. Actually, no, that is not his car. He's a part of Slaughter Sim Racing. So they're actually teammates that are about to go at it for 4th and 5th. Greg Mitchell going to look on from Fazekas Motorsports.
And the thing to mention, too, about Greg Mitchell, he's been lapping pretty quickly. That's why I kind of went to point him out, is that he caught up 3/10 to last lap to these guys alone, as they're now about to go side by side. And actually, Weishart's going to let his teammate, the number 67 Cameron Hearn, on by, as Hearn takes a huge helping on a curb. Going to throw him offline just a little bit here. But now Greg Mitchell is definitely into this battle.
Yeah, definitely going to get a bit of a bigger battle here, as a little wide through the carousel, but it gets a better run off, does the 33, so should get themselves settled here, and might have a battle into turn number 1 if Mitchell can get a better run through these final 2 corners.
So gets a lot, catches the curb. Weishart gets a little bit loose. Mitchell looks like his car is very composed by comparison. You see Weishart even again leaving hang out to dry there, Hunter.
I would say that was almost reminiscent of the 3 of hearts earlier on. And now here comes Mitchell, going to look down low. Is the 33 going to give him some room? A little bit, but not going to be enough heading into 2.
Yeah, that was one of those looks that it's really not to make the pass work. It's just to get them in your mirrors a little bit. Make sure they know that you're there and that you're looking, and it might throw them off their game. It might not, but there's never not a reason to at least try it.
Battle brewing a little bit further back. Ryan Hart's John Furness was heating up there for a second. Matthew Bell trying to get clear of Shane Abbey. Mason Kane as well. So some solid battles brewing here inside the top 10. Up for the lead, though. Don't think it should be too surprising here. The Rick's Hot Sauce car is starting to drive away from the rest of the field. Beckner's not been able to close that gap in after overtaking Justin Munsell. He's fallen now back to almost 4 seconds in behind. And also, while we have a moment here, we've seen a few Simrad Market replays. Race fans, be sure to visit simradmarket.com for custom iRacing paint schemes, templates that are simple to use and help you stay more focused on the racetrack. And some of these guys, especially the ones chasing down James Carroll, trying to channel in as much focus as possible, especially the guys in some deep battles.
Ooh. I think we finally caught someone who hit the wall going into a bus stop, and it's none other than Greg Mitchell. Look at the right front fender of that 2 car. It's gotten used up. Furness trying to battle Hart, not quite there, but Greg Mitchell had a lot of pace, but I think he got too close entering the bus stop.
Oh yeah, it definitely was a big whack to that car. Oh yeah, the entire right side is torn up pretty hard.
at least he's able to still run. Figured once you hit that wall, Hunter, you'd probably be screwed, but didn't really hurt his pace yet, but it's definitely going to hurt him for the rest of this race.
No doubt about it. As take a little look here.
Oh, yeah.
Like a skim.
And that right front is crinkled.
Oh, he's not the only one.
Whoa.
Wow, okay.
What a jump scare Santo is.
Andrew Santo currently is just running out there, just trying to hang on, on his controller in the number 10 machine. There's a lot of power to modulate with only a finger on the trigger on a gamepad. It's very tough to control. I've done it in a Miata. The Miata is a lot more easier to handle than a 600-700 horsepower stock car. He's side by side with the 95. This is actually battle for position for 34th place.
And Spencer Brown's going to get that position. Far down the order, but a clean car, so that's always something to be proud of. Brown started.
Ooh, pit stops.
That is very early, but you should be able to make it to the end. But it is. I guess it's not that early. About maybe 4 to 5 laps.
He is one of the first guys to come in, though, so he's early, not too terribly early. I think he figured maybe try to get some fresh tires, see what we can do with it in some cleaner air. He was in behind, for reference, he was in behind, I think Mason Kane was running in 12th place for coming in. He's going to come out in 25th place.
Look at this battle. We've got a battle for 9th forming right now. Actually, that is a big battle for 9th. It's a gaggle of cars. Steve Durham trying to get out of the way down in 36th. Matthew Bell, Shane Abbey, Mason Kane in this as well.
Santo, oh my goodness, that's not the racetrack.
Oh, he almost came right into Ryan Hart's too. That was really close.
Right on board. I saw him getting squirrely heading into turn number 10, but a little bit too far back there.
My goodness, I thought Spencer Brown was about to hit the pit wall, but he avoided it. We'll see what happened here.
He hit the grass.
Same thing when we saw with Bryce Senezak, although he didn't turn in left and hit Ryan Hart, so I'm sure Hartz is thankful for that.
Oh, wow. Skyoli's trying to get through lap traffic right now. He almost slammed into Paul Irvin. Michael Muhammad just missed a bus stop in front of him. This is when it gets kind of rough. We saw lap traffic play a big factor on Tuesday night, and they're starting to come into play big time here as Skyoli's got a number of cars to navigate here. This is almost a point when you'd want to pit to get away from these guys.
I definitely would. If I was the number 7, I would definitely pit. But I'm not his crew chief, so we'll see what he does here in the 7. But this is definitely going to be costing him time. And if he doesn't pit this time, if I'm Beckner, and there's a 7 passing by, if I'm Beckner, I'm coming in. Or he can stay out too. Just also going to stay out.
Excuse me. Let's see what Hearn does.
No one's listening to the crew chief Finian.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is why I guess this is why I'm a broadcaster, not a crew chief. No one in the top 5 is listening to my advice, so I guess I must not have the information. I mean, I would say it's worth coming in. I mean, you're only maybe what 2-3 laps. You're 2-3 laps from halfway. You got a huge amount of lap traffic. This is an easy way to make up that time while everyone else is getting caught up because it's quite a bit of hefty traffic. Especially
when he's going to come into a bus stop, it's going to get really tough for Beckner at some point. So you need to time it. It's all about timing, right? You can catch them into a bus stop. They might let you by like before the bus stop, coming out of the S's, or maybe before 6 and 7. But you catch them in the bus stop or in the middle of the S's, you're going to lose so much time, and it's a big risk to take.
Well, yeah, this group definitely in front of him is not going to let him on by Hunter.
No, I was going to say, Beckner has made up almost 2 seconds on the 7 since he's encountered lap traffic, but again, the 27 has yet to encounter this lap traffic, which he's about to do so within the next lap or so, and the 7's going to continue leading. But I'm really interested in how Beckner's going to get around those 3 lap cars.
Slipped big time there.
Just Munsell working his way by Matt Cochran in the number 4, currently running in 37th. As Munsell is running in 6th, as lap traffic has started to be a big hectic for quite a few of the race leaders, trying to just look on down. And actually, this has gotten the top 10 a little bit separated in some parts. Greg Mitchell still trying to chase down the 33, David Weishart. It's a battle for 5th place brewing between them, and he gets some great traction on the 33 here.
Mason Kane just pit from 11th. There's another somewhat early stopper, but yeah, I thought Greg Mitchell's damage had hurt. It's not hurting him too much. He's still able to keep with the 33, so it couldn't be hurting too much as he tries to get a big run, trying to get ahead on the steering compared to David Weishart, but not able to do so. He'll just have to sit back in line. As Travis Beckner, I'm looking at him now, he does navigate past Michael Muhammad pretty easily. Munsel's closed in a little bit, but not as much as these two kind of draw further apart.
And the two of Mitchell is still going strong, trying to get around the 33 for the 5th position. But yeah, I'm really interested in how the 27 is going to find his way around the lap cars and see what the 6 of Munsell can do, because this is a good opportunity for Munsell to make up some ground and possibly make a pass on Beckner. As mentioned, when Beckner hasn't caught lap traffic, he made up 2 seconds. So, well, there's the 6 of Munsell going around Michael Muhammad.
Weishart just pit, so he'll come down into the pit lane. That's kind of a situation, Hunter, where you kind of want to pit earlier. You got a guy hounding you on the back of you and you're coming up the pit stops. You don't want him to beat you in the pit lane, because that battle's going to be pretty much over as Chris Rabel comes in behind him. You don't get down to pit lane first when someone's on your bumper. That the race for that position very well might be over, so it's an important thing to do.
Yeah, and then it turns into a battle on the track. And speaking of Cal,
oh wow,
on board with Beckner as, boy, he's got quite a bit of lap cars.
This is why I would say you probably should have come down the pit road. All that time you gain, and look at it, it's 5 seconds, over 5 seconds now after all this.
And here comes the 6 of Munsell.
Yeah, he's going to have to get through this as well. This is pretty much the halfway point of this run this time by. So it would not be surprising to see Skyley do what he did Tuesday night in pit, but he's actually going to stay out one more lap.
And Travis Beckner also going to decide to stay out more time.
Slide in the rear.
Interesting with the leaders, though. It seems like a lot of the field's going long here as we come to lap 23, just about halfway through this run.
Mitchell and Hartz just came in. Matthew Bell's going to come in as well. So we're starting to see everyone come down. I think Beckner, or Scioli's, I think he's kind of waiting on the 27 a little bit, but I don't think that's going to be needed. Beckner almost completely ran into the back of Santo, who's really struggling right now, that Ted car is.
Oh, and there is, I believe, Adam Robertson getting out of the way. Santo trying to avoid hitting the back of that car. And, Munsell got through the bus stop there a little wobbly, but he's made up quite a bit of ground on Beckner, as he was fortunate to catch the lap cars on the straightaway, where Beckner, he had that big moment heading into the bus stop last time by.
Yeah, big look back. John Furness is trying to look at the guys who remain out here, as quite a few guys are down on pit lane. David Weishart, keep an eye on him. You just saw him. He's worked past Greg Mitchell.
And Scioli.
And Scioli now finally coming down to pit lane on lap 23, exactly halfway, pretty much as close to halfway as you can get. He's going to come in to get service to his car now. Where does Travis Beckner do? He's going to stay out, and so will Justin Munsell.
Pretty much what Beckner did Tuesday night, just stayed out a few extra laps, get any advantage on the 7 you can, at least have some sort of shot to catch him on fresher tires. Same thing for Munsell. Is going to try to pull off the same thing, as these are really the only two drivers that are even close to the 7 zip code, which I gotta say is impressive. I'm impressed by Munsell personally. He's had a great drive tonight, as I think that's Cameron Hearn on pit road with the 7.
It
and
is.
The 7 just coming out. So now we'll have to see when the 27 and the 6 come into pit, and how that will benefit those guys, if there's any benefit at all, because I know the longer you stay out, the more wear you have on your tires, but towards the end of the race, you're going to have fresher tires than those that pitted before you. But at some point, they do even out, so I'm not really sure if that's going to benefit either Beckner or Munsell, but it's worth a shot.
Looks like Beckner's pitting this time, actually.
Look at the 27. Here he comes in. Justin Munsell deciding he wants to stay out another lap, maybe to get a cut up on the 27. I guess that makes sense. Whoa, behind him. Pretty wide coming off the final corner.
Mohammed and Philip York there, I believe, but 6 stayed out, probably to get a bonus point for leading a lap.
Yeah,
if I had to guess.
Whoa,
Mohammed. Big bobble then in turn 1. There's,
my goodness.
There's problems underneath the 78.
Problems in turn 1, especially. I've seen a few drivers kind of go wide there. He was 3 wide. That was Mohammed, Forrest Smith, and Philip York. They almost came together out of a final portion of the track. And this is the big, excuse me to cut you off, Payne, but I was about to point out, this is the big thing for Skylerly. Clean air on fresh tires. Could not have worked out better.
Oh, wow. And he's about to have a 10-second gap maybe to Travis Beckner.
Who does not get out in clean air.
No.
Yeah, so Beckner's going to have to now work through a little bit of lap traffic as he gets back up to speed in his machine. Cameron Hearn not too terribly far behind, 4.7 seconds back, and then Justin Munsell here working through the final corner. Is he going to come in this time by? No, He's going to continue another lap out. So really going to extend this run.
Oh, you know, in fairness, he had a pretty big gap over the fourth place competitor who was trying to see who exactly it was. I think it was maybe Greg Mitchell or David Weishart. So he had a big gap to them to begin with. So you have the opportunity to try to go long and maybe come out in front of those guys.
McComas was just mowing some of the grass here in upstate New York. Whoa, and a little bit of a moment there for Slar heading through the carousel.
That was the one of Steve Durham mowing the grass there in the #1 machine.
I believe both cars are... Whoa!
Oh!
Hello.
Who is that? Is that Lakatos up the road?
That was not Lakatos. That was Matthew Bell side by side with another driver, trying to see who that was.
It was not Rabel who it is now. I think that was
Brown.
with the 95.
Spencer
yes.
Brown in the 95.
Spencer Brown.
I think he just overcooked it, focusing on the 95. Oh no, he got hit.
No, he hit the grass.
Well, the 95 hit the grass and then he hit Bell. I think that threw Bell off. Now he's in a battle for position with Chris Rabel into the S's here. Abby's looking on.
Yeah, side by side for both of them into turn #1. The 43 is going to be outside. Rabel trying to keep it tight on the inside. And here comes Shane Abbey trying to poke his nose. Guys, be careful. You can easily hook that 29 around. Here comes Mason Kane. 4-way battle here for 10th place.
Big head of steam from Kane.
Yeah, big head of steam, nowhere to go with it. And Rabel completely shut the door on Shane Abbey up to the exit of the S's. It was able to make that work as Justin Munsell just came onto the pit lane as this battle is still forming.
Yeah, Kane, again, you have these big runs with cars side by side in front of you, but there's really nowhere you can go except just give it to one of the cars in front of you, either inside or outside. There's not too much room where you can go 3 wide other than maybe turn 1 if you really wanted to send it in there. I saw that in the beginning, but again, nowhere to go for those guys as Munsell's going to come off pit road, and he's going to be almost 14 seconds behind race leader James Scioli.
And he came out just behind Cameron Hearn, which is not what he wanted.
No, definitely not what he wanted, but he is going to have about 3 laps fresher tires, so I think should be able to catch up the 67 and make some quick work. But then again, considering he's battling with the 27, this is really going to be more of his realistic goal. Trying to catch back up and see if he can get 2nd place back. Taking a look further back, he's kind of do a little run through the top 10. Here's David Weishart running inside the top 5. Great run for him so far in this race. Greg Mitchell's fallen a little bit off through that green flag pit stop sequence. Ryan Hartz has Brad Slaughter Jr., who is all over the back of him. But remember, Brad Slaughter was one of the first guys to come into pit lane, is now starting to pay the price. So 9 lost pace to the 3, and now just got past by the 28 you saw right there of John Furness, who moves up in 8.
And further up the road is Ryan Hartz. Oh, wow, look at that mess of cars back there coming out of the carousel. I was going to say something about Alex Weaver, who apparently flipped into 6 a few laps ago, but we'll move on from that. Just brush that under the rug as Rabel continues to try to keep this battle under wraps with Shane Abbey just all over the rear of the 29. Ooh, wide out of the final corner, but Abbey's going to get a run here in the 1.
How do these cars keep flipping over?
He literally gripped up the wall from what I saw. Oh, Rabel loose. Nope, he's all good. Thought he was getting some wheel hop there, but he's all clean.
These guys are managing pretty well up here so far. I haven't seen a whole lot of mistakes, major mistakes, I should say, outside of the guys in the top 10, top 20. We saw down the order a lot of the lap cars struggling. Speaking of lap cars, 22 cars remain on the lead lap, and that number is dwindling here as you see James Gully making quick work of some of the guys in the field. Going to put Andrew Santo on another lap down as he catches up to Michael Muhammad, and Muhammad going to peel off to the side. He also goes another lap down.
You can see how cautious Scioli is being around these lap cars. He's giving them 2-3 car lengths in between the two of them, so can never be too sure. Yeah.
Those two are still battling for position. That is a battle for position on track. 30th and 31st right now, Santo and Muhammad. Although with all that damage, the 10 of Santo's still going strong.
I don't think Santos pit yet either.
No.
No, he did. He did 7 laps ago.
Oh, all right.
Keeps the goddess is not coming to pit lane.
There's that 50 car. I don't know why I thought it was a white car, but
The back of it
still
is.
the back
Half of it is.
but
Casey, you're gonna need some fuel there, buddy.
I mean, I would take tires as well. That's just my personal preference.
Yeah,
Put
that's
that,
true.
put that on a poll. Does Casey Cottas take tires when he comes down pit lane? At this point, who knows?
Yeah, I was gonna say, he really is gonna need it. I'm surprised he hasn't already. Up maybe now he's taking,
there
keeping
he
to the
goes.
right.
He's coming in this time.
Here, yeah,
There
here
he
it
goes.
I'd say the fuel probably can't even stretch much further. 28
No.
laps.
I didn't know they could go that far.
I was gonna
That
say,
could, yeah, I could barely go that far Monday night, and that's a bigger tank.
Okada's coming in. One of the last guys to come in. Actually, say that. Matthew Cochran is also not come in yet. Has been out there for 27 laps, so he's going to be coming in the next lap or two, I would imagine. But everyone else on the racetrack has come in for their final
He
stop.
already pitted. I think did he not pit?
According to my timing, he did not. There
I
is a
thought he
good.
came in and pitted earlier.
There he might have, but I'm not too terribly sure.
I don't believe he did pit, so I think he does still have to come in. Yes. Two people who don't have to come in. Munsell doesn't. Neither does Cameron Hearn. This battle for second starting to heat up to get by Steve Durham. These two are starting to come together a little bit closer. Munsell on a little bit fresher tires.
But look how much of a
He's
tighter
gonna-
line he has.
A much better bus stop than the 67. He's going to hug that curb. Hearn might get a better exit off the carousel, but the 6 really hugging those curbs, and this is for a podium position. This is for a chance to talk to us after the race is over.
And that's the real prize here. Who wouldn't want to talk to Finian? Ooh, Hearn
Yeah, I
missed
was gonna
the
say
corner a
really.
little bit.
Unless they don't want to talk to me, in which case they're going to try to finish fourth.
You can talk to Hunter then. Oh wow, he really lost time out of a final corner there. I think he tried to over-under him, Hunter, and just completely misjudged it.
Well, I think he heard that he had to talk to me, and he backed off.
Yeah, went a little bit wide in that final corner. I think he was trying to see if he can work to the outside. Just no grip there, and it's going to lose some time to the 67. Has some time to work back on it, but I would say overall, I feel like the 6 of Munsell, he lost out by staying there, I think, a little bit too long out there on track. Now second behind, has to get past Cameron Hearn and then try to catch back up to Travis Beckner with a little bit ways down the road.
It's going to be a hard task to get the Beckner. I think his plan was to come out in front of her and not have to deal with this battle, and then he could just set his sights on the 27, but he may probably stayed out just a lap too late, and it hasn't worked out in his favor, but still definitely a good shot to get to the 67. He's going to have a big, well, maybe not a big run, but he's going to have a run here as Hearn uses all of the track coming out of the carousel, and Munsell has a look just getting to Hearn's mirrors. He will have a look to the inside, forces his way down there.
Hearn will give him that room. They're going to encounter Colin Fambro, but he might be on the inside wall when they head down the front stretch here. But door-to-door, good battle for the 3rd position. Hearn's going to clear the 6 for now. See if Munsell can answer back heading into turn 1.
Yeah, he's going to, really try to get deep on the racer. You can see him trying to outbreak the 67. Caught quite a bit up to the back of the 67, but nowhere to go at the moment. I think his next real opportunity to be here heading to the bus stop, but there's a lap car up ahead, so this could be key, depending where that car ends up.
Yeah, that was pretty close, as this battle's going to continue. He's going to have to look to the inside. Hearn did not get up the S as well at all, and Fambro right in the middle of this. This is going to be tight to the curb. Contact. Munsell off wide. I think he's going to keep it straight, but that was not the place to do that, I don't think.
Wow. That could have been worse for the 6.
Oh, yeah, he
Surprised
got
they
away with that.
Yeah, he got away with that very good as we look inside and see what the 6 of Munsell was doing.
Oh, you can see
Look
how much wheel.
immediately.
Oh, man.
You can see how much wheel he put in trying to get the thing to rotate right, but the problem is he was airborne over a curb, so there really wasn't anything to rotate on. and unfortunately went into the 67 enough to throw him out wide. So Cameron Hearn separated by about 2 seconds back to the number 6 on Munsell.
Munsell probably have another chance to get up there, but the left front damage, it's sort of there. Big slide out of 1 you can see in the background, so he'll have more ground to work with here. He's also still got to get by Colin Fambro, who's now in between those 2 cars as Hearn got around him in turn 1.
Meanwhile,
might still be some time. Oh, and there is the 4 of Cochran pulling off to the side, and like you were about to mention, Finian, it's almost a 7-second lead for the 7 car of James Scioli. He's just been dominating this race from start up to now. Anything can happen within the next 13 coming to 12 laps left in this race, and Beckner still holding on strong in second. Very marginal gap between him and Hearn for the 3rd spot.
I was going to say, while we have the Rick's Hot Sauce car, been very familiar at the front of the field this week so far. Race fans, be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauce made locally in South Florida. Try the Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. That's what this car is right here on screen. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see which driver will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standing. That's rickshotsauce.com. And Scioli, if anything, he's been on fire this week and 12 laps away from cleaning out the week, winning in the Cup, Truck, and the Pro Series here.
Yeah, he's definitely brought some South Beach heat up into the New York area, and there's no surprise with how consistent he's been on these road courses and how much speed he has and the right strategy he has. It's no surprise to see him up front again and still maintaining, if not growing, that gap of 6.8 to 7 seconds to Travis Beckner. And we talked about at the very beginning of the show, he's not, I won't say about to make history, but he's coming this time by. He's 11 laps away from making history, being the first driver to get the brooms out in area.
Indeed, and if Scioli does win this race, it would be the 6th race he's won in Season 4. This would be the 3rd in the Pro Series. He's already won 2 in trucks, and he won in Cup as well. So he'd have 6 wins total in Season 4.
That's impressive, especially with half of them all coming at Watkins Glen. Just showing you how much I'm assuming how much he loves this track and how well he does at it here. Still 7-second lead back to Travis Beckman, then another 7 seconds back to Cameron Hearn. Update on how many cars are on the lead lap. It is only 19, and the next car about to be put a lap down is Ryan Swan, just ahead of our leader here.
And he's still in a battle of his own. He's not too far behind Forrest Smith. These are 2 drivers who really haven't talked about too much, but they've had a decent climb through the field, both of them. Swan's up 8 positions, Forrest Smith up 4. Chuck Sweeting is a little further up the road, up 9 positions, up to 17th place. So definitely respectable runs from those guys. Obviously being lapped, but when it's James Scioli, that's not really a big deal. You kind of expect that at a track like this.
Yeah, very strong run for those guys. Jordan Martin up 2 spots since the start of this race as well. He's kind of run around in 16th position. Very good for him, though, because I saw in the practice session that he was a part of with Anna Sogok and Mason Kane. He was not a fan of his car at all. As there is Justin. He's 14th, so a fairly decent run for the 88. And Garrett Grant as well.
Oh, hello. Oh, there's a battle.
Yep, it's going to say it's a losing battle for Brad Slaughter. Still struggling to keep that car as high up the order as possible. Chris Rabel, fresher tires. He wants that spot. You see Slaughter trying to make him work for it as 96 Hudson's going to go some off-roading.
A little tap into the barrier. He's good, though. Well, I wouldn't say good, but that's not the way to put it. But he at least didn't cause any more harm. Wow, what a slide.
Slaughter's just moving off.
He has nothing to defend with at this point. He's just holding on to the end at this point. Rabel gets by. Kane's going to clear. It's been a battle between Rabel and Kane, and now it really will be.
And the funny thing is that for Slaughter, his laps are only 3-4 laps older, but I think he's just been running a lot harder on them. And now I think, again, he's starting to pay the price here. And also I think the track's getting a little bit more slick. So everything not really going in the number 9 car's way. As Rabel works his way inside the top 10, Mason Kane in tow.
Still trying to peek at that battle potentially for second. Munsell is closing back in a little bit. Oh, Santo.
Santo, hello.
Big old struggle.
Right in front of this top 10 battle.
Yeah, it's been a big struggle for him. This is an absolute mess. Steve Durham's there. Jeffrey Wilson's just bailing out. There's Slaughter just sliding. Not a lot of room to get off that carousel if one driver doesn't go wide, but they make it work. Rabel gets a little bit of a gap as he tries to navigate around the 10 of Santo. Right in the way. Look out. Rabel, he gets by. Kane gets by. Look out, Brad Slaughter.
It's a gaggle of cars here.
Oh, they almost hit right there. Him and Durham. This is wild. That's for position 2, Santo and Durham. Oh, they're 3 wide. My goodness.
What's this going on? This is just absurd.
This is for 30th. Imagine that.
Hey, every position matters.
No,
man.
you're not wrong. Every position matters. Every controller.
Whoa! Where did Slaughter come from? Where did he go? He went off course somehow.
Lumar jump scare.
Give me the jump scare.
Just saw Justin Munsell and Cameron Hearn exchange position, and we'll go take a look back at what happened in behind these guys. I don't even know where to begin.
Looked like Hearn missed a bus stop there. I think that's why that pass was made. I think Slaughter sent it, and he made some contact with Mason Kane too, and then getting back on track because you need to turn right here to avoid a time penalty. I think that's what he was trying to do, actually.
And I want to take a look back at these guys off this entire complex of corners here. This is them heading 2, almost 3 wide. There's Santo almost turning Brad Slaughter. They're coming off the corner.
Wasn't over yet.
And then here's that 3 wide.
Oh my gosh. That is good stuff. And we're not done battling yet. David Weishart has been caught by Greg Mitchell here, so there's going to be another battle for a top 5 position.
And shout out to Greg Mitchell, because that car doesn't look like it necessarily belongs in the top 5, although I guess he looks a lot worse than it actually is, because he really hasn't been looking like he's been struggling in that 2 machine.
I was going to say, it might just be cosmetic damage for the 2, if it's still handling that, or if it's still running top 10 speed.
Definitely doesn't seem to be hurting steering or anything like that. And by the way, nicking that wall has not stopped him from getting very, very close to it because he almost hit it there.
Need to be brave here at Watkins Glen, especially in some of these corners, and definitely Mitchell showing that bravery here. Going to go a little bit wide, trying to see if he can build up a run to the 33 of Weishart. As the laps wind down here, coming to 6 laps to go. I think actually Skylar's already been past the lines. Actually, they're going to come down to 7 to go this time by.
Whoa, Mitchell, big slide there, trying to get by Michael Muhammad. I just noticed Shane Therian, that's a new livery on that 38. He's down at 23rd. Just thought I'd mention that as Mitchell's really drove it hard into 1 that time.
It's a very intriguing paint scheme. Can't go wrong with green and black. The same with, Munsell. That's a little lighter shade of green. Might be a little more yellow, but
can I get my
still very
Raycons
good
in that color?
That is actually a nice shade of green to get Raycons in.
You see Munsell, he's starting to put a gap on Hearn, so that battle should subside. This one probably won't to the end, though. Mitchell's really trying to hustle. Weishart's almost looking like he's running out of tire to fight the 2 machine off.
And Mitchell still putting pressure to the 33 of Weishart. Hasn't had a big enough run to make a move on him, but he's still applying pressure to that 33. As we look a little further back, Shane Abbey, Brad Slaughter, that is for position, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shane Abbey just gone by Brad Slaughter. Slaughter continues to drop down the order here, just trying to hang on back to 13th, and there's the next man trying to chase him down. Is Justin Sogak now in 14th place. And now only 16 cars remain on the lead lap. Here's Jordan Martin. Where's James Scully? Right behind him.
And it will soon be 15. And then it might, it might not be 14. It's a ways up to Garrett Grant.
Yeah, it's quite a bit.
Speaking of that, solid run for him. He's moved up a little bit. He started 19th. He's in the top 15. Little front end damage, but it's not really hurting him too much as he's looking to get by the 10 of Santo.
If there's any cars around him, I'd be a little worried, but I think it's just him and the 10, so that's safe for him to say, as now they're coming to 5 to go, I believe. Or is that still 6 to go?
This should be 5 to go.
5, yeah.
I'll say Beckner's closed the gap about a second, but it's going to be too little too late, I'm afraid, for the 27, as Mitchell still looking for that top 5 from the 33 of Weishart. Will he make the move with the front bumper to get around the 33?
He used up the one fender, might as well use the other.
I was gonna say the car is already damaged, so I mean, what's one more bump to the fender? Although I'm sure Weiser would argue there's definitely a lot wrong with doing so, but we'll see what happens here if Mitchell's willing to get the chrome horns out here to make a pass. It is only for 5th, so it really depends on how worth it Mitchell thinks it is. And actually taking a look at the points, Mitchell's running not necessarily the best runs he's had. Again, we were talking about him before, has yet to have a top 10 or a top 5 this season. So good points coming his way, but Weiser definitely could use this after the run he has. We were talking about all pre-races, a really good run. Has yet to finish in the top 20 this season, the number 33 machine. So this could be a great time to turn this around, give solid points to his name, and throw him way further up in the points table.
Yeah, he's lucky he has a charter, or else he might be missing races that Michael Waltrip did in 07 with that points position. 36, it definitely has not gone his way. It definitely has not been his fault. We've seen him run at the front in the Xfinity car so far this season, but he has literally had no luck because the last 3 races, they've gotten absolutely crazy by the end of the races. The yellows fly, wrecks happen, and Weishart's been caught up in almost every single one possible in the last 20 laps, but looks like he should avoid the chaos, knock on wood, he should avoid chaos this week, but you just never know because he's still got a battle to deal with. Both him and Greg Mitchell fighting for that first top 5 and top 10 of the season. It's going to, he slipped up there. He slipped up there, Chase Elliott. He did the same thing. I think he's not going to fight this one off.
Well, and that's going to give top 5 position for the moment to the 2 of Mitchell, as see if Weishart can corral that 33 and bring it home inside the top 5, but he's already starting to drive away with it.
I'm sure there's a small part of Weiser that wanted to stick into it and battle with the 2 up the S's, but I think he figured, like we were talking about, he's had a lot of bad luck happen this season, and he could just easily back off and easily take away a 6. I'm sure either way he'll be happy coming out of the Glen. I'm sure he'd like the top 5 just a little bit more, though.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. Almost looked like he wheel hopped into one and just couldn't catch it in time to close the door on Mitchell. And then, like you're talking about, once they got to the point where Mitchell had the advantage up the S's, there was no point in really trying to fight side by side. So you just had to concede at that point. And I don't think, unless a mistake happens, he'll get back to Mitchell. Not too many other battles on track. There's Ryan Hartz and John Furness, 7th and 8th. They've had quiet races. Not the most quiet race of the week for Hartz. He was literally alone Monday night, and I think he was alone in 6th or 7th place on Monday night too, so at least has some company in John Furness tonight.
He wanted to be a little further back, but still the 28 of Furness having a solid run himself inside the top 10. Mentioned that he needed a good night as well for the point side of things. He entered the night 20th in points, so this is going to help him out quite a bit. As you see the tire and the suspension and all the parts and all that goes on underneath the virtual automobile of the 28.
Still, these guys are taking very, very straight lines through and up against the wall, heading into the bus stop. Even with 2 laps to go, still chucking it in there.
Skyley's still dealing with lap traffic at the same time. Never a dull moment. Yeah, never a dull moment for Skyoli this week.
I was going to say, never a dull moment for Santo, because in this race, whoa, he gets close to the 7 there. He's been on screen so many times this race, and it's purely by him either being passed or almost taking someone out.
He has gone 3 laps down, but you'd think he'd be last. He's actually still running 32nd, pretty much where he started. So as far as being on a controller, I would say right now it's mission successful. This is actually...
Oh my goodness.
It's for position, by the way.
Yeah, he's still racing for position with these guys around the track. That is Steve Durham that's behind him, trying to go after it for 31st, I believe.
Yes. And Beckner just has not been able to close. Like we were talking about, hindsight's 20/20. But when he got in all that lap traffic, thought he maybe should have pit, but wasn't able to.
But it's a solid top 5 for the day for Beckner, and going to be a solid win for the 7 if he can make it through one more time. The white flag is in here, and
just slid through the bus stop. Excuse me to cut you off there. I thought he was about to hit the wall, but he gets it back going, and we're on the white flag lap. Skyoli's all alone as we get the Simrat Market replay here under the bus stop.
Yeah, see what happened to John Furness here. He said into the bus stop, went sliding through. Let's see here on entry. He was already sideways, went out way wide onto the runoff, and then cut through the grass there at the end. So any chance he had at catching Ryan Hart, he could throw that out the window. He's going to have to settle for 8th place as he's coming to collect the white flag. But James Scully here working through the bus stop.
And get a good look at it, folks. So whether you're watching on Twitch, YouTube, whatever, get a good look at this because you literally might not see this again. And if you do see this again, it's probably going to be Skyoli doing it again because he is so good on these road courses. And really, his hardest challenge was Monday night. He had to fend off the Cup Series champ. And he's able to do that after pit stops. And since Monday night, he's had no issues. Looking at a sweep. Get the brooms out, folks.
Yeah, get the brooms out indeed. James Scully, he's done pretty much everything he could this week. Won the Cup Series on Monday, won the Truck Series on Tuesday, and as he comes out of the final corner, the number 7 is going to take the win here in the Pro Series. 1, 2, 3, the week sweep for James Scully is complete. He takes the win here at the Glen.
Awesome stuff. What a performance. Congrats, James. That's awesome. Awesome history. Beckner gets another runner-up finish. Looks like Munsell is going to be over. He's going to win the fight to talk to us. How about Justin Munsell? He gets to talk to Finian. Byrne gets 4th, and it's a ways back to Greg Mitchell for 5th. And Weishart's actually almost under fire from Ryan Hart's.
Well, judging from the chat below, it seems like Steve Durham's sent it on Santo for the 31st position.
Oh, yes, he got it. He got him. Bumping, then some.
Hart's got close to 33 there, but it'll be 6th place for Weishart, 7th for Hart's, Furness in 8th, and then Bell and Rabel going to come around to finish out their races as well.
And by the end of it, only 14 cars ended up finishing on the lead lap.
Last of those going to be Garrett Grant. And you and Kyle were talking about where burnouts should or should not be done at Watkins Glen. So we'll see if the third time's the charm. Does he do them in turn 1? We'll have to see. But either way, he can, let's be real, he can do burnouts wherever he wants after winning all 3 races here.
He definitely can.
Road.
Munsell gives him a bump. Yeah, do it in your pit box. Do it in everyone else's pit box.
Whoa, Santo.
He still needs to get on camera.
I was going to say, even on the cooldown lap where no one's racing at all, still manages to have a little bit of a wreck right before the end. Here in behind the 7 of James Scully. At least it hit the 7 as all 3 of his cars have been utterly pristine this week. You see him swerving down the front straightaway here. And I think Takau's dismay. Oh, wait, he passed the start finish line. Did he learn his lesson? I think he did.
I did say in the Discord Pro Series chat that they would appreciate it. So sometimes all you got to do is ask.
And the best part of it is that Kyle isn't even here.
Oh no!
Hit the ball.
No! I can't. Well, maybe okay. Go back to the start finish line then. You're gonna hit the ball.
That's how you pass post racing.
Nah, you're right. Also, that keeps David Weishart Racing a perfect 4 for 4, does it not?
It does. They continue their dominance in the series. It's the 3rd win of the season as well for Scully, but I don't think he really cares too much about that. I think he's more happy probably about the week sweep here in the area series. And we'll, as he burns it down, take a look here at your finishing results. James Scully taking the win number 3 this week with Travis Beckner, Justin Munsell, Cameron Hearn, and Greg Mitchell rounding out your top 5.
Big runs. We were talking about it a lot. Big runs for Mitchell Weishart. They really need that. Same for John Furness. Struggled early, but still got 8th place. Matthew Bell backs up his top 3 last week with another top 10. Chris Rabel hung in there, fell back a little bit. He gets 10th. There's a few more drivers outside the top 10 who also had strong runs, Hunter.
Indeed, and 11th was none other than Mason Kane. Mason's had very solid effort going the last couple of weeks. Been a couple spots shy of the top 10 before a run-in at Iowa, but another solid showing for him. Shane Abbey as well, Justin Stogak, the Daytona winner, and Eric Grant, the last one to finish on the lead lap. Then it's Slaughter, Martin, Chuck Sweeting with a very good day as well. Forrest Smith, and then a pair of Ryans rounding out 19th and 20th. Swan in 19th and 20th, Dunkelberger.
Moving on back to our next page results, Austin Gatcone finishing in 21st. I don't really think we mentioned a whole lot of the 8 tonight. Then we got Shane Terry and Colin Fanbro. Casey Cottis finishing in 24th. Jeffrey Wilson 25th. Weaver Robertson, Paul Irvin, who we saw get damaged pretty early on from that big wreck in turn number 6 early on in the race. Philip York and Michael Muhammad rounding out your top 3.
Surprised Irvin got 28th. Also, Theory, who got the 22nd. He was up 18 positions, started dead last, so good run for them. And these are the people who are not as fortunate, especially Tom Bourne, who was in that accident with Bryce Senesac. And Rob Ackley collected as well. They could not avoid and they could not recover at all. Matthew Cochran, as far as I don't know if he ever pit, but I assume he did. He finishes 34th. Santo on the controller gets 32nd. Him and Durham roughed it up for that 31st position. Also see Spencer Brown there, Chris Seidenfaden, who we did not note went out of the race. Not all 40 drivers could finish, but only one could finish at the top tonight.
Yeah, let's go round out your finishers here from Watkins Glen here. Let's pull in our third place finisher, Justin Munsell. Here we got the number 6, Justin Munsell, waiting with us in the booth. Justin, well, we saw you trying to fight with Travis Beckner there in the end, especially after the green flag pit stops occurring. You got set back a little bit and try to work your way up the order. Unfortunately, couldn't quite get back to that 27. What happened out there?
Yeah, I kind of realized that my pace wasn't up to their standards for the first 10 or 15 laps, so I figured probably do something crazy with strategy and stay out a couple more laps. I knew that I had a little bit of a gap between myself and fourth place, which was Hearn at the time. I just misjudged it, did the math in my head while I was trying to click laps. Not always the best idea, right? And I missed it probably about a half a second. He beat me out, so yeah, that was all that mattered. I don't know if I would have caught Travis anyway. I mean, they were bad fast, so I mean, I was happy to keep it third place at this point, get by Hearn and whatnot. But yeah, overall pretty stoked. I'll take a third place.
Yeah, definitely still a solid run regardless out there. We also saw a lot of back end swinging on a lot of guys getting loose, struggling on the power. Were you in particular struggling with that tonight? I mean, obviously a lot of you guys near the front made it look easy, but a lot of the guys near the bottom of the order struggled. So anything in particular that you did, or was it pretty much another day in the office for you?
I mean, no, it was difficult for sure. There was a couple of times where it got a little squirrely, a little bit more than I wanted to. I actually found, and I know it's going to sound crazy, I kind of found it a little tighter. It was tighter on entry, which would force you to go loose on the exit, is what I found. So I just backed up my corner just a touch more in this session than I did in the practice sessions I've done. So, yeah, it was just all about maintaining the gap or maintaining your throttle, not trying to mash down on it right as soon as you get out of the corner. I basically would just wait a half second longer than I usually would, and just try to stay consistent with it.
Indeed. Well, definitely consistent enough for a solid third place finish, Justin. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Moving on to our second place finisher. He wasn't able to get it done tonight. Going to finish second again, Beckner. Unfortunately, you were just shy of your rival. Anything different you tried to do tonight to see if you can catch back up to him?
Drive the car more aggressive.
I was going to say, on the broadcast, you drifting through the bus stop there. That was perfect timing.
Yeah, there was quite a few times where I was drifting, and I think when I started just driving as hard as I can, I lost too much time out of it, and before that, I was a little bit faster, but not much faster. Just mistakes. Mistakes were key tonight. Same thing that I've done every night through the bus stop. Hit the first bump wrong going into there, and shot off the track and got a slowdown. But ended up getting my spots back there, and then yeah, lap cars were something else tonight. Some of them had a mind, and some of them did not.
Yeah, and also one thing I want to ask you, too, when it came down to pit stops, we saw that eventually James Scully came down before you did. Was that all part of the plan? Were you trying to go after the 7 and run a little bit longer, or were you trying to see if you can maybe come into the pits earlier, or what was the game plan as far as pit strategy?
I was gonna pit a lap after him so I could get that extra point for leading a lap, which I did, and yeah, got that. Ended up coming out. I didn't know 1 lap tires were gonna make a little bit of a difference, like it did there for a little while.
Well, apparently it did, but still a solid second place finish for you, Travis, here at Watkins Glen. Thanks for talking to us.
Before I go, I'd like to thank my sponsors, Calusa Pines Landscaping, Thompson Pipe Group, Rick's Hot Sauce Celsius, Area iRacing.com/shop, Black Buffalo, Holston River Machine, BG Creative, Hookit Films, Miller Racing, and y'all taking the time out of your day to come do this, and all my family that watched tonight.
All right, Travis, thanks for talking to us. Best of luck to you for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
And last but certainly not least, the man we've been talking to at the end of all the interviews this week, and the first man in the area series to get it done, the week sweep, winning all 3 races in a single week. James Kyle, how did you manage to get it done?
Man, I don't know. I've just always loved turning right in these things. It's always just been something that I've really enjoyed, is the road course side of NASCAR, and just always have prided myself on being pretty good at these things. So I know last season I finished second in a cup race and then won the other 2, and so I really just wanted to go one better this season. And man, I didn't think it was going to happen, to be honest. I thought that there were quite a few lap cars that were giving me problems, and it was a little bit of a mess out there, but luckily we were just able to put in some good laps, and I know the guys behind made a couple mistakes, so just able to kind of keep our heads down all night and just try and stay clean and ultimately come away with the win.
Yeah, and actually talk to me about lap cars, because I think we all saw in the booth that they were quite a bit of a handful tonight in particular. What was the strategy as far as dealing with them? I know you obviously felt like you were really comfortable and had quite a bit of pace underneath your hood, so were you trying to get past them as quickly as possible, or just kind of wait for a solid opportunity to present itself?
Yeah, I was just kind of trying to wait. I was just trying to see what they were going to do and just try and play off of them rather than try and force the issue on anything. Now, if it was a little bit closer, if Travis was a bit closer, putting some more pressure on me, I think I would have had to change up my approach. But luckily, I was just able to kind of sit behind them, let them battle. I think I only had to mic up once or twice to tell them to move over. So all in all, not too bad, I guess.
Well, definitely not bad, because you got that car home in one piece and up near the front. James, thanks for talking to us, and congratulations on making history.
Yeah, thank you guys. I want to say a big thanks to you guys in the broadcast, and for all that you guys do. These broadcasts are amazing. They all come out super good. So big shout out to you guys. Shout out Connor. He told me that burnouts look good in turn 1, so figured I'd do that for him. And then big thanks to the admins and rickshotsauce.com. Code Skyoli, get you $7 off there. Daniel's Candles, Butt Kicker, Matco Tools, Chris Sports Cards. Thanks to them for being on the car. And hopefully we still have a couple road courses on the schedule next season after this.
Yeah, we'll definitely see what happens, especially at the next road course coming up in the season, and also just the rest of the season in general, with 3 wins to your name here in the Pro Series. James, best of luck to you for the rest of the season.
Thanks, guys.
All right, and with that, it's going to wrap up interviews here from Watkins Glen, guys. Another hectic race in regards to the lap traffic, as James was talking about there, but in general, too, some great battles, especially in the rest of the top 10.
Yeah, really good battling, just like Tuesday night, Monday night, great battles all around, and at the end of the day, we had the same person at the top step in all 3 races. Once again, congrats to James Skylerly on making history. Not only is he the first driver to sweep a weekend in area, he's also atop the wins list all time with 23 wins. He passed, on Tuesday night, he passed Hearn, who has 21. Now Skylerly's at the top with 23. What a big night for him, Hunter.
Big night indeed, and I don't think it could have been any better for him unless he led every single lap, which that's not going to be possible, but still, very historic week here in area with Skylerly sweeping all 3 series, and it's going to be interesting to see if he can do the same next week. I don't think that's possible, but we'll see. They're going to Michigan on the Cup side of things, and I believe the Truck Series is going to a different track. Or you know what? No, I think all 3 series are going to Michigan. Yes,
yeah, that's what I have it as too. Yeah, so if you're not been a fan of stock cars turning right, well, good news for you, because the next few weeks are going to be making a lot of left-hand turns. As Hunter mentioned, all 3 series are going to be heading to Michigan, so that's going to be some great action there. A lot of racing. We saw these guys go 5 wide here in turn 1 at Watkins Glen. Definitely enough room for going 5 wide next week at Michigan. Stay tuned Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday night on the Area iRacing Twitch channel and on Sim TV on YouTube. But that's going to wrap up here coverage from Watkins Glen here for the Florida State Builders Area Pro Series. My name is Finny Kuna here with Connor Horn and Hunter Sleppy, and we'll be signing out for tonight. Thank you for watching.